Hey, welcome, enjoying your blended family. All the B-fams out there, what up?
What's up, guys?
I've missed y'all.
Do y'all remember this guy?
I missed everybody. I missed you. I missed you. And you and you and you and you.
I hope you missed me. I missed you too.
I did. It's been a while.
I
was
have
singing
twisted
a
his
little
arms
Stained earlier.
and said, will you please record a podcast with me? Our B-fam community misses you, and I'm afraid they're going to think that something's going on and that we've gotten a divorce.
I was really kind of sad because really our B-fam community never reached out. They never even reached out and said, where's Randall? Or Randall, bro, where are you? How have you been, man? Are you all right?
I haven't seen you dancing on
Hadn't
the
heard your
Instagram.
voice, man. We miss you. And, nothing. So that's okay. I still love y'all.
All right.
I knew y'all were thinking about me.
Yes.
I knew that.
And we'll explain, just in case you don't know, we'll explain, where has Randall been? Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, if you're from our time frame and you
That's
know
a
that
whole
reference?
episode in itself.
That
Where
we
has
will
Randall
talk
been?
a little bit more about that because it goes along with today's topic a little bit, which is about getting your husband on board with date nights.
What?
And the man's ideas and thoughts behind date nights, what you like about them, what you don't, why you avoid them, why you want them.
What does a man think? What does a husband think? Because I'm sure there's no ladies out there that want to know this, and there's probably no guys that are like, come on, Randall, tell them.
Tell them how we really feel. So I told him in this episode, I just said, don't be like professional Randall.
Don't
is
be
the
a pro
correct
Randall
answer. This is like what we're supposed to tell couples. I want you to be completely real and honest with me. He has not seen these questions yet. He was busy at work when I came up with them.
I'm coming in here blind, y'all.
And so I want these answers for myself, ladies. But I know if I am a curious woman who wants to figure out how to get inside my husband's head when it comes to date nights, that there is probably many of you as well. And you might actually be the woman in the situation. You might actually be the man.
So we're going to do a little being John Malkovich here in just a minute. We're going to unlock the mind and let y'all jump on in. So are y'all ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. Y'all stay tuned. We'll see what happens. And we're off to the races. What is in Randall's head? What are in all the husbands' minds? What are they thinking is the real question.
Yes, and I will say that this isn't just an issue now because you have started working outside the home again. I will say this is...
I think we got to give them just a little insight if they don't know.
I'm fixing to.
Okay.
But I just wanted to give them pre-insight
to the insight.
to the insight of why. Because I want to
Okay.
say this isn't just like, okay, we just had this life transition and this is why we're having issues. This has been a hard thing for us for a long time.
We always have issues.
Always. But date nights and trying to make them happen has always been a struggle. We're not here doing it right all the time.
Not at all.
But Randall and I have just come off of pretty much maybe a 3 or 4 year, depending on exactly what you're cutting in and out as our working together. But we've been working together for several years now. And
Since really 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
So we've been spending a lot of time together, some of it quality, some of it work, some of it during work feels quality, all the things, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so we didn't have to be as proactive in spending time together.
We had to have undate nights. Is what we had
needed time to go in our own private space,
our own space
to get away from each other for sometimes.
Undate nights. That's like an unbirthday. Was it Alice in
Happy
Wonderland?
birthday, yes, to you.
Yeah.
But now that he started a new job, and so it's been about 5 months now that he's been working outside of the home again, and I miss him. I miss you, bro.
Well, I miss you too. It's just, that's how life goes. And well, what can we say? Now, and basically what happened was there was an opportunity that presented itself for this job that I'm now doing, and it was just perfect timing. It was God's timing and perfect opportunity, one that I could not say no to, and we thought, okay, we were headed down one road with this. And this still allowed us to continue being blended family coaches and to continue on with what we're doing here. But then when we stepped into that, little did we know that it fast jumped into a fork in the road that created another stepping stone that led to an even better opportunity.
Yes.
So it's just been one Excel after the other Excel. So it's been one big transition for me and trying to get settled into what I'm doing.
And
so
God
I've had to kind of step back a little bit here, but that's not the forever thing.
Yes. God has definitely had his hand in this, and we can see him moving amazingly, but it's also created like him having to go, not necessarily go back to school, but taking these courses. And so his time is definitely pulled in a lot of different directions, and I was like, you know what, I got this. And we have had some incredible guests, and we have a lot of incredible guests lined up this summer as well. Some of y'all have heard them before because we've had them on, and some of them are some new faces and voices that you will be hearing. But I did twist Randall's arm today and said, will you please just sit down with me so that we can show them that you're still part of this.
I am still part of this. So we are getting into our summer interview session. You've been doing a really great job at kind of carrying the whole podcast YouTube load. So
yes.
So
well, thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah. But it's also left me with this, I want more of Randall. I want more date nights.
That's really the reason why I took this opportunity. I was like, I want her to want me. I want her to
want me.
I want you to want me.
That is good. Yeah, haven't y'all missed that? Him breaking out in song when I say random things. And so, but for real, I have got to a place where I'm like, I want more date nights. We know how valuable date nights are. We know what happens to us when we don't have date nights. You want to tell them?
Yeah, we just get really grumpy at each other.
Mostly him with me.
No, I think like anytime, if you're not being intentional on date nights, y'all do. You start falling apart. You start going your way, and I start going my way. You start
missed
going.
This, haven't you?
Yeah, we meet you never meet in the middle, and that's the problem. And what happens is you start focusing more on each other's faults, and
like that I don't pull into the driveway all the way correctly.
I know, and we had to have that discussion, and then she feels like I'm constantly getting on to her about stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it's just no good. It's a lose-lose situation.
And then though it puts me in a position of like, I want more time with you, but I know how stretched you are. And I don't want to be yet another person pulling from you. And so that's really where today's episode was birthed from, because I know I'm not the only woman out there. And again, like I said, it could be the roles are reversed. Your wife may be super busy and you're the one that wants more time with her. So we're saying inside the mind of the man right here, but it may be that it's just that person that is working away from home or working more hours. And if you're on the end like I am, where you want it, but you don't want to be a burden. You don't want to feel like you're adding more to their plate or stressing them. And so I will not tiptoe around, but like avoid trying to plan something because I don't know how you're going to feel about it.
So it's just a lot of just not good things. But it all comes back to communicating, right? Doesn't it?
Yes.
It kind of always does.
Yes. And so we're going to communicate here with you guys on camera, because that's how we like to do things.
So honestly, I have not seen any of these questions. She is going to throw this on me.
And again, I told him answer for real, not podcaster, blended family coach, man, but just.
Okay. I am taking the coach hat off, y'all.
Okay.
And I'm just putting my bro hat on, my husband hat, my husbo hat on.
Husbo.
And we're going to make this, we're going to make it fly.
All right. So you ready for question number 1?
I think so. Yes. Go.
Do you think...
True. True. No, okay. Sorry. Go ahead. I thought wrong game show. Go ahead.
Do you think date nights are important? And if so, why or why not?
Well, I definitely think they're important. They're extremely important. For one, I mean, everything that we talk about, I mean, we don't just say it because we're blended family coaches. We say it because we firmly believe it. We've seen it. We've seen it happen in our own marriage time and time again. And like you were saying before, I mean, we don't get this right all the time, but we are intentional. We know we need to. Yeah. And so the times that we can't, we sit there and we now see the warning flag so much easier, and it's like, dang, okay, we got to make sure we're spending time together. That's the problem.
Yeah, instead of the warnings, I think early before you start learning each other, the warnings are like, oh crap, I married the wrong person.
Yeah.
Now it's like, no, I married the right person. I love you. We are not spending enough time together.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, no, I think that's just it, because if, I noticed that when we're not spending enough time together, that we start nitpicking on each other, and and it personality based. My personality is I start seeing all these things that are wrong, because I pay attention to detail. That's a blessing and a curse. And then you feel like you're tiptoeing around me, because you're like, how does Randall feel today? I don't know if is he in a good mood? Is he in a bad mood? And so it's just like we don't communicate, and so it really just kind of puts a wedge in us. And I think that's the tension. We start feeling more tension in our house when we're not doing it. So yeah, no, I think they are super important for that reason. It's how you stay close together. And besides, it's just having fun together. You're supposed to have fun together. And I think we get so serious with life.
That is true. And we personally could work a lot. Especially when you're passionate about your work, you can fill that time up very, very easily. And it's not a let's clock out after a certain time or after so many hours in the week, because you're not getting paid for them. We do the work regardless if there's income or not when it comes to this type stuff. And so I know a lot of you too that are working on things that you are passionate about that happens. So you say have fun together. So the next question is, what do you consider a successful date night? Like, what is involved? Like the actual things, and then maybe even the emotion or feeling that comes from that.
It's got to involve food.
Okay.
So if there's food involved, then I think that's a successful date night. That's
your real answer?
That's my real answer.
That's your real answer. Straight from the man's head, guys. He needs food.
It's got to have food.
Meat.
So meat, protein. Give me. Where's the beef? One of those. No, I like. What was the question?
Oh, you do know the question?
Yeah, it's just what's a successful date night?
Yes.
And to me, I think it's just one where you are being intentional and you're just spending that quality time. Sometimes I think you have to step outside of the home to do that, because if not, you got all these other things on your mind, like I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that. I know for me that's a big deal. Like there's so many things on my plate, and sometimes I feel like, dang, date night is another thing to add to it. I don't have time to do this. But then I get frustrated with that, because I'm like, but I should have time for this. I want to be able to enjoy that. I want to be able for it not to be like an inconvenience or anything, and I think that's just where it's, I know personally I've been self-reflecting on that, saying, okay, well, if my life is that freaking busy that I can't even enjoy time, with my spouse, or, time by myself just to refuel at that, if I don't have time to do any of those, which those should be the primary things that we're making sure happen, then I got too much on my plate. I got to start shedding. I've got things flipped upside down. And I think for me, learning this the hard way, it's just one of those things I still haven't mastered. And I find myself, I try to shed one thing and then two other things pop on my plate. And I'm like, crap, how do you do this? And sometimes I just want to run and scream and throw my whole plate off to the side and just, go jump on an island somewhere.
Which I think that's where the RV life appealed to us so much, because not that we don't, love our family and love our community and our church and the people that are around us, but it does feel like we give to everybody else. And at the end of the day, we are exhausted to give to each other. And again, like I said, like I don't want to be another added thing on the plate. And right. I do feel like it gets to that point where if I try to plan something special or whatever, it's like, well, this is just, now he has to turn up. I was going to say show up, or, just show, turn on this act. And it shouldn't be an act. It should be comfortable.
Yeah, no, it should be something that we want to do. And I think, now that we're talking, I think it's one of those to where if we start feeling that way, then we should sit there and say, okay, well, if these weekends that we're having are so busy, we got so many different things always constantly on our schedule, we got to just start shedding these weekends and have some free weekends. That way, whenever we do throw a date night in there, hey, it's okay because, we haven't just had 6 weeks of completely jam-packed weekends or weeks or things going on in the evenings, and then now it's like, okay, we need a date night. We know we do. Well, that one weekend where we're free, we don't have anything. Now let's do a date night. And it's like, I just want to freaking breathe. I just want to sit down and stare into space and just go, Yes. So instead, then I think that's where it really needs to start. Is not just about the date night. If you're having issues trying to make a date night happen without it being an inconvenience, then let's look at the other weekends and say, okay, let's start cutting crap out. And let's say, okay, if this weekend's that busy, cut it all out. Let's free up a lot of space. How are we going to do that? Next weekend, make sure that one's free too. And do that because I don't know.
And be very intentional on planning the not plan, which I think we have done that in the past. Maybe like because we get so overwhelmed. And like I'd been traveling and I think you had to travel. And so it was like back to back to back. Some holidays in there, birthdays, especially when you come off this season for us, it's birthday after birthday after birthday after birthday. Then we were watching the grandbaby. So, I mean, and I think it is reevaluating like this at the different seasons because you just jump into a new season of life and it just sort of takes over your calendar without you being proactive in it.
Yeah, and you have to, and I think you nailed it. You have to be proactive in your calendar and not allow these things just to slip in because, hey, we got to do this now. We got to do that now. We got to do this. And then next week it's, oh, now this happened. Now we got to do that. And it's like, just stop.
Well, and like some things are like they come out of nowhere as well. Because I was trying to be very proactive last month because I was feeling this. So I picked us a date night. I wrote it on the calendar. This is going to be date night. And then the week before, I guess Randall was feeling it too. And he came home from work and said, hey, you want to get away from the house and go and do something together? And I wasn't prepared because he doesn't do that very often. And so then I'm like, well, crap. I had like next week down for our date night. If I say yes tonight, does that mean we're not going to be able to do what I wanted? And I wanted to do the travel date night box. And so, I was like planning it out this way, but then it turned out he was going to have a procedure done on that night before, or like he had to do some prep the night before that I had date night planned. And so then it's like, well, we can't go do those things because now he's going to be starving and he can't eat. And so it's like all of these...
just here. I had a colonoscopy.
Okay,
we're not going to tiptoe around this one. Just I am over 45 now and they recommend that. And so it sucks getting older a little bit. And that was my first one and it really sucked because I had to not eat for a whole freaking day.
Yes.
And that's the worst thing ever.
Yeah,
so,
and he...
So there it is. The cat's out the bag.
I wasn't going to say it. They could have thought you were having a vasectomy. I don't know.
Did that one. Check. many
And we already know that Randall says a successful date night involves food.
I know. So you take food away, and then what are we going to do?
And so, it's just, but those are the life things that
but I did milk that one. I did milk it.
We ate out before and after, and we had just started eating healthy again, and so I was like, look,
I'm like, this is before the procedure, babe. I gotta eat a big meal
like his last
before
meal,
I fast the next
on
day.
Death row.
And then whenever I could eat again, it's like, how about now lunch? We need a good lunch, and now we need a good dinner.
No, this is what really happened. The whole time he couldn't eat, he was daydreaming about this one it's called Papa Dog's, this new restaurant. He's like, we're eating a smash burger, it's going to be so good. So that next morning, I'm thinking, okay, well, when he can eat again, which
lunchtime, we're doing a smash burger.
We're doing smash burger. He's like...
No, that's an evening thing.
He's like, no, I'm going to save that for dinner. I want this for lunch. Like, so we know dates involve food.
It's always good for guys, yes.
So for a successful date night, because I just wanted to throw that in there, though, because I was trying to be proactive, and I think that wasn't even your original scheduled time to do your colonoscopy, and they scheduled...
they did a whole reschedule and stuff.
And so, it's stuff that's out of your control, but we can't let that still keep us from making it happen. So just these little things that come in. So I just left it circled and planned for a date night. And that's where some questions that I want to ask you as well today, and we'll get a little bit more into it. And maybe this is something that they need to have conversation themselves as well, which is, so did you say what's a successful date night? It has food and we're spending time.
I think it's, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I've laughed about the food, but I mean, I'm kind of serious about that. But I think a successful date night is one that you can actually enjoy, that you don't feel like you've got 100 things on your mind, something that you're able to fully unplug, be present, and enjoy each other's company.
So is there a feeling is there been like certain date nights that you've walked away and you're like, my heart needed that, you know, like, or our relationship needed that. That filled me up, didn't drain me.
Well, I mean, we do a lot.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to think through that. Yeah, I think anytime that, you know, just getting away, I think times like, you know, we've been to Kima and things like that where we can just fully unplug, go sit down at a restaurant with no time, you know, just something that's got good scenery that we can just sit back, talk, chill, not press, not trying to get in and out of a place. You know, I think those are some of the more refreshing times.
So, and I think I've heard
somewhere by water. I don't know.
I've heard this just in things for your life in general, because you don't like time pressure.
I don't
on stuff. So when we're trying to squeeze in a date night, we have these 1 to 2 hours on this evening, and now let's hurry and connect. Yeah. Like, you don't like the pressure of that.
I don't. Yeah. We kind of discovered that a couple years ago, and actually on a podcast, I think is where that one. I have a time issue. Yeah. Anytime that I feel like I've got something scheduled and I've got to be there in a couple hours, so I only got a couple hours to do this, then I'm just like, this sucks. You know, I don't want to do that. So for me, you know, and it's all this, of course, is personality based, but for me, I think it's one to where time doesn't matter, to where you can get away and time doesn't matter. You're just there in the moment, enjoying each other's company.
Okay, that's a good answer. So next question, do you wish we had more date nights or less date nights? And I would say right now we're probably doing good with one intentional date night a month. Yeah. But then we have a lot of random stuff that is happening too, that we're spending time together, just not labeling it a date night.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I would like to see more. I think we need more date nights. But, you know, like I said, it's got to be like a real date night, not just I don't know. I mean, and date nights look different, right? I mean, a date night doesn't have to be a big, long ordeal. It could be like 30 minutes taking a walk around the block type thing. So, yeah, maybe getting more intentional with just the short date nights. You know, or short dates, should I say. I think when we say date night, we feel like we got to have the whole evening set, you know, but just more of the random, just, hey, let's go for a walk, or let's go sit down outside, or something, you know, stuff like that. I think we need more of those.
More of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good answer.
So we want to answer the rest after break?
Okay.
So we'll take a break, and then we'll get into the other three that appear to be a little juicy, maybe. There might be some juicy questions. You know, might get some juicy answers. Who knows? I don't know.
We will see.
So we will see. We'll find out. We'll be back.
Right. So the next one is, why don't you like date nights or look forward to them?
Why don't I like them or look forward to them?
I think we kind of just answered that.
I think we did, yeah. Whenever I feel like there's so much on my plate that I feel like it's just an added thing. And it sucks. It shouldn't be an added thing. So that's, you know, really this has been a year of reflection for me. You know, I started out this year going, you know, how do I want my life to look? Am I happy with what my life looks like right now? And
which I think is very common in men, especially around the age, maybe mid-30s to where you are now, which is your mid-40s, to be really where that's where like the midlife crisis mindset comes from, or saying. I'm not saying you're having a midlife crisis.
Oh no, I'm probably dead in the middle of one. I don't know. Do you really ever know you're in one until you're out of one? I don't know.
Maybe so. Everybody else knows but you.
But no, yeah, it's definitely that reflection of life for me saying, is this how I want my life to be? Because we've been so freaking busy, and I don't want my life to, I've had so many family members come up and be like, well, I know you're always busy and don't want to bother you because you got so much going on. And they're 100% right. I do. And I hate that, and I don't want that to be my life. I want to be able to have downtime and to be able to enjoy life more. We have been intentional in a lot of things in a lot of areas with that, but it's so easy to get our plates so overfilled again. And, I think that's our culture now is, the busy culture.
Yeah.
I'm ready to step out of that,
Yeah.
So that's it with date nights. That's why I don't want to do more is if they feel like it's just another added thing that we've got to make it happen because we know it's important. So let's add that one on our plate. And okay, we got 30 minutes here. Let's go do something together.
And he really doesn't like when we have to do it because I have gotten a product or something that it's like I'm getting these because I want to truly spend time with him. But when we're using them and now we're up against the wire because it's like, okay, well, we need to do this date so that I can make a podcast or we can make a podcast over it, then it's like we're just doing this to do it and not to actually connect.
Yeah, you're just going through the motions then. And so I guess that's a business owner's problem. Whenever you're trying to do things for your business and it involves relationship and things like that, that's whenever, I know for us, we have to find that fine line of what does that look like. But, but yeah, there it is. It's just try not to add another thing to the plate when you're already overloaded. That's why I don't want to do more. So, but is date nights really the issue then? No. It is the plate being too full.
So the golden question is how to clear the plate.
How to clear the plate, that way date nights don't feel like an added thing that you're doing. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do to make you feel more connected on a regular basis outside of date nights? So for all the women out there or that person that feels like they're the creator of the dates and it all comes down to just like if, it all comes down to the big vacation and if the vacation doesn't quite go as well, that 1 year vacation, then it feels like, you waited all year for this missed opportunity. So what can I do outside of date nights to connect more with you?
To connect more with me?
Yes. So it's not just a date night necessity.
Yeah. You could park the car better if you would do that. I think that would greatly help my blood pressure.
The problem is all the things that would help him are my natural states to not do that. It's the little stuff like that. He wrings the rag out because why don't we just get something to hang our rags on in the shower? It's like when we redid our shower, we don't have anywhere to hang our rags. And so one hangs on the spout. And so if he goes to shower, he has to take my rag out and put his rag in. And for the longest time, I thought he was just being so kind and taking my rag out. I don't know why I thought you were like, that was just your way of blessing me. Really, it was just you needed my rag out the way so you could put your rag in.
Yeah.
Weird stuff like that. But
I would always take my rag out for you. That way you had a nice open space to bring your rag in whenever you.
Yes.
All these little things.
Those are the things.
Don't you love the husband-wife?
That's like so
tiffs?
hard though, because that's our different personalities. Is that these are the things the way he likes it. So in order for me to please him in that way, it's completely out of my nature. And then sometimes we are both. In the instances where I am going out of my way, we're both being so considerate that we're actually both
hurting each other,
sacrificing for no reason or very lack of communication in that because we're both trying to please the other person.
Yeah. Don't you love that? So, marriage is fun.
Yeah.
Marriage is fun.
Even when you're married to someone wonderful and even, when you're working hard at it and you know the right answers, it's still difficult.
Now, I think, if we get past all the husband-wife drama that we have, I think it's just really being considerate of our schedules, and I think communicating more with each other, and not trying to overload each other, and I don't know if that's the right answer or not.
I'm guessing like for instance, like because he is working outside of the house 40 hours, Mother's Day, or it wasn't Mother's Day, it was Easter, I think. And on top of already being gone and having a busy week, now we're having people over to the house, which that all involves him for the most part, because he's mowing the lawn, cleaning the pool, grilling the food, or it was crawfish, like we were doing all of that. So I'm planning these events for our families to get together, but you are taking on the brunt of the work load. Is that what you mean, like being considerate of the schedule that way?
Yeah, I think so, and just knowing, hey, if you're saying what can you do to help me out, then, I would say it's looking at your partner's load and just saying, hey, man, they've had a busy week. Let me not add more to that. Let me not plan an event here. Let me make sure we got some downtime to where, hey, we're just going and hanging out by the pool or something like that, instead of saying, okay, we're having these people over for dinner, or we're doing this and this and this now. And, if the schedule's already full, let's not add more to it on times whenever we could have that downtime that we're looking for, I guess. To where now we are having more intentional time, and we don't have so much on our plate that we're like, oh, no, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do this and this and this. And, oh, yeah, let's throw in a date night on that. And, I guess just being more intentional on our schedules, probably.
Okay.
Maybe.
Anything else? And that's it.
I think that's like the main thing.
Because I'm like super shocked. So, like, sex has not even come up at all.
Oh.
That wasn't part of a successful date night. That wasn't part of being more intentional.
Sexy time. do a little sexy time.
Like, would you be more inclined to be like, okay, I know date nights end with, I'm not saying women that it should. I'm trying to get inside the man's head. So I'm not putting thoughts in your head, because that might be the furthest from your thoughts. And hey, that might be something we all find out today, is that our husbands really are not actually thinking about that.
I know we do, and I know for me, and I probably speak this for most guys, that, if we're not if we're struggling sexually or having that active sex life that we want, I think it all comes back to being overloaded. If I'm so stressed out and I'm working nonstop, sometimes that is the last thing on my mind, or I'm like, now I've got to, make sure that we're pleasured,
yeah.
So that's just
it's another chore.
Yeah, it's just one more thing added to the plate.
If you're doing it right. I mean, because you could just like take
wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And you don't want that. You want, okay, earmuffs, kids. You want sex to be fun and pleasurable and exciting and things like that, but it's hard to do that whenever you're already stressed out, and I think that's where we lack a lot, especially is, whenever I'm just like overworked and everything, sometimes, we can't even attempt to have any of that kind of fun until late at night. And by that time, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm like worn out. So, I think
is we solved that problem when we worked here together, because we decided daytime was the best time.
Oh, daytime was great for us then. And
yes, but now you're gone. And I mean, can you just come over here during the day? Come on.
But then even that, before this, now, I think that's where it goes into seasons of life, and they all look different. And you just have to continuously adjust to a new season, because, we were rocking it there for a while, but then grandbaby comes along, and now we got grandbaby during the day. And so now, that shifts kind of mine and your time to where now it's really only the evening time. And, by that time we're both worn out and tired. And then now our plates are still overloaded, and so we're stressed out. And then, it does become that chore that sucks. That should be a fun thing. So I think this whole podcast is coming back to, if your plate's overloaded, adjust your plate before you can even do a date night. There it is. I think that answers all questions.
That answers all of it?
That answers all of it. And it's not a one-time job. It's an every season job, because stuff just keeps creeping back in. And sometimes you'll look back at your plate and you'll go, damn, how did it get packed again? I just unloaded it. It's kind of like a dishwasher. That's what it is. That is what it is. Our life is a dishwasher.
Yes.
There it is.
And nobody likes to do
just
dishes.
solve life's problems there. Life is a dishwasher.
Well, and what we found is one of our common sayings, and this is where I try to balance respecting your time, but also forcing you to do things, because our story has always been, and I'm sure we're not alone here, has always been next season. So like currently it is, okay, I'm taking this course for the job because it's going to give him this different like accreditations that he needs. So after I finish this, so after mid-July, it's like always after. And then I'm like, okay, I'm patiently waiting for you to be done. And then it's something else, and then it's something else. And so
But you're also one that's got a computer in your lap till 9, 10 o'clock at night, too, though.
I know I'm not the best, and that's where because I went away to a women's retreat, and that was one of the conversations that I was having with the group of ladies, is opening up like my heart on this. And, you know, they challenged me, well, maybe you need to start chilling, and then he'll follow. But I feel guilty. And that's what I explained. I was like, well, I can't put my stuff away and stop working as long as you're working. Because I feel like if you're working and I'm just like, oh no, I decided after 6 o'clock I don't work anymore, so I'm just going to sit here and, you know, chill out by the pool or watch some television, which watching television, it doesn't fill you up, but it does numb you out. And sometimes I know that is your idea of post-evening. You know, like, I don't want to think, I don't want to do, I just want to like get lost in a story. And so that is another struggle, is like, okay, well, I have to match your work level. And so the ladies were challenging me, well, maybe stop and just see what happens. And so I haven't yet. So, I'll tell myself I'm not doing this after 6, and then it's 8 o'clock before you know it, because I'm working, you're getting your workout in, or we're eating dinner on separate times, and it's like, oh, it's 8 o'clock already, because the sun's still out and it doesn't seem that late. So I definitely could be a better role model in that. But
well, that's the whole problem. Until you become a better role model, it's not going to be fixed. It's not going to be fixed. Keep on
living this cycle.
So there we go. Just be a better role model.
I mean, if you heard my Instagram live, like where I just like was crying about these big revelations that God was giving me during this season of busyness and new job and parenting, grandparenting, all of this stuff. And so I do know there's areas that I could improve on, and so I am working on that. Hopefully you'll see some fruit from that here pretty soon. So before we wrap it up, because I mean there's probably a lot more to get deeper in your head, but you're also a man, so maybe that's it.
I'm a man.
Maybe that's it. So the sex thing came back around to, sometimes even that feels like a chore when you're doing it right. And so the exhaustion, just overloaded. Yeah.
Because I mean, even if you talk sex thing, I mean, I try not to be selfish with that, you know, and I don't know, I know there's probably a lot of guys that don't think about that or don't care, you know. I try to make sure that it's a mutual,
and you do a good job.
Fun. Thank you. And so, yeah, sometimes it's like, okay, if I know I'm not up to par and I can't be that, then I don't want to be selfish and just look out for me. And so I don't even initiate, you know. And so I think whenever we get into those busy seasons where I get super stressed out and just have a lot on my plate, that's whenever I do step back more and I'm like, it's just, I'm not going to be good at it right now.
Yeah.
You know,
and if I'm not initiating and he's not initiating, then weeks can happen, and at least 2 weeks, and we're like, oh dang, you know,
what happened?
It's been a while. I mean, we joke all the time, we're like, it's been like 6 months, when it's been like 2 weeks, but or we forgot how to do this. So before we wrap up, is there any last minute things or thoughts? Like, for my heart with this episode was for the women to understand the load, the mental load, the pressure that's on men, and just really grow them in this area of like, for the women, how can I approach this better? Is there something that I can be doing? Like, if I plan it all out and you just have to show up, will that be the solution? Is there a day of the week, like not on a Friday after you've worked all week, or you don't, I know you've said before, well, I don't want to do it on Sunday night because I got work the next morning. So it's like, okay, that leaves one day out of the week. So it's like,
yeah, I mean, if I were to say anything, and, you know, this just kind of coming from my, my thoughts and everything, is not about the big things. And I think sometimes we get so asphyxiated on it's got to be big things that happen. I think it all comes down to the little things. It's the little just showing, just showing, hey, I care about you. I see you. I love you. I appreciate you. Not even needing to always verbalize that, but, just the desires, like walking by, slapping my butt, or, walking by, give me a hug or whatever. And, there's nothing, there's nothing coming from that. It's just like, hey, I recognize you. And, I know you're loaded up right now. And, I think guys, we want that. We desire that from our wives. We want to feel, I don't know. I know we're not emotional. We're not as emotional as the ladies are, but we are,
Yeah.
And they're, we do have certain needs and certain wants, and we want you to want us, basically. And being able to do little things to show, hey, I want you. I need you. I desire you, and just in little words, little actions, little, and like I said, it could just be a quick little, whatever, and just, I don't know. I think more things like that. And I think whenever guys feel that and they feel that desire that their lady has for them, then it makes them want to initiate more, makes them want to be a better husband in that area and to do more and to try harder and stuff like that. So, I don't know. And maybe that comes down to the, guys, we need that respect, or we need that, I think we've all heard that about guys, we just want to feel appreciated and be respected and things like that. That's just that inner thing within us. Whether we voice it or we don't voice it, that's still buried within a guy. And I think just being able to show that in some levels then makes the guys sit there and want to be that better husband.
Yeah, because God designed men to need respect and women to need or feel loved. So guys need to feel respected and women need to feel
well, just that, but guys, we're supposed to be the head of the house, right? We're supposed to lead and sacrifice our lives for our family and stuff like that, and I think it's part of that, just that leadership role to feel like they're a leader, even if they're not, and I think sometimes even people that aren't necessarily meeting that leadership potential in their homes, that whenever a lady still gives them that type of, recognition or something like that, then it makes them want to step into that, And so it's kind of more of that, dang, they feel that about me. All right, well, let me try harder, Yeah. But I think a lot of time, and that's just the human nature, and that's to where when we don't see that in each other, then it's like, well, they didn't do that, so I'm not going to do this, and so they start pulling back. Well, then of course the guy's going to start shutting down and then, start isolating themselves, and you're definitely not going to get nothing then, from the guy.
Yeah.
But, so I think it is that reverse in how we approach each other that, we I guess lead to where you want them to be at, in a sense.
Yeah, I'm reading Everybody Always right now by Bob Goff, and that's one of the things that he says is call people what you want them to be, or like who they are. It's like something about calling them by that name, and they meet that, because so often people do want to please, even when it comes to your children or your spouse or whatever. He calls his wife like Sweet Lisa or something. Every time he says her name, he says that. And it's just reiterating every time you say it that this is who you are. This is who I see you as. And it's building them up, but it's also reminding you that that's who they are, instead of us focusing on the things that are not.
Yeah.
And the areas that we lack. So good stuff, man. I do appreciate you taking time to just really be honest and open up. And I wasn't sure what kind of answers I would get. And
it all comes down to food. So if you feed them, they will come. So just do that, and
that's why I guess men are very comfortable with just going out to eat.
Going out to eat, exploring, finding new adventures in food, or just adding food into whatever you're doing. I mean, there you go.
Sure.
Yeah.
Without a time. For you, without a time.
Without a time, yeah. And
I wonder if
really
that is normal. Like, let us know ask your husband that and let us know, like, is that a common issue for men, is that they don't like the time crunch, or is that just Randall?
And that's really thinking back, to some of the better times we've had is when we're not on a schedule. Because I feel, and I guess for me, I feel like we're always on a schedule. So being able to break away from that is like a vacation. Okay. So even when we go on vacation, that's why it's like I don't want a long itinerary of we got to go here, we got to go there, and I want to be more tired when I get off the vacation than I did, before I got on it. I want to be able to go and just sit on a beach, and just enjoy not being on a time limit. So yeah. There it is. Okay. But that's me. So good different personalities, different things, but
yes.
I don't know.
Well, now you know inside the thoughts of a man. We don't know if it's all men in general, but this Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Tim the Toolman Taylor.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
good stuff. Well, listen, guys, we hope y'all got something out of that, and I know we learned a little bit more about each other because this is what we do. This is how we work things out between us. We just hit record, and we hope that everyone is learning and growing from it as well. So we love you guys, and we will see you on the next.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope this episode has been a blessing and encouraged your family journey.
Make sure you stay connected with us and join our weekly Blended Family newsletter. We send an email out every Friday morning full of support and encouragement.
And when you join, we also want to give you a free gift. So go get yours today. The link is in the show notes below.
Have an amazing day. Remember to enjoy the journey with your blended family, and we'll see you on the next episode.